The announcement of the statutory instrument prohibiting persons and vessels from traversing the Sarstoon for 30 days brought on much criticism and opposition, as many Belizeans were saying that in doing this, the government may just be ceding Belize's territory to Guatemala, while in other instances it was being said that the Belize government is allowing us to be bullied by Guatemala. One of those opposing the statutory instrument was the Northern Territorial Volunteers, headed by the De La Fuente brothers, Philip and Orlando. This morning, however, Love News learned that there has been a change of views following yesterday's press conference with Prime Minister Dean Barrow.
When the SI came out, like most regions, I was angry and I was disappointed that we would be restricted from visiting our own territorial waters, while Guatemalan fishermen and the military encroach on our waters. But after I saw the Prime Minister's press conference last night, I had a change of heart and I started thinking that perhaps it was a strategic move and on the part of the Prime Minister, because he said two things. He said the statutory instrument was only for 30 days, and he also said that at the expiration of 30 days, he would not restrict the DTV from visiting the area. And so, even if there was no progress between now and the 30 days, he might rescind the statutory instrument earlier. And I thought that sometimes we can't only think about the issues between the DTV and the government of Belize, but we have to think regionally also, because what this means is that, first of all, the government has exercised sovereignty over the area by legislating the restrictions. And secondly, it shows the region or regional allies that Belize is serious about diplomacy, that we're a peace-loving country. And thirdly, it places a lot of pressure on Guatemala, because if Guatemala refuses to come to the negotiating table and a protocol is not reached between now and the 30 days, and the 30 days expires and the Prime Minister will not stop the DTV from visiting the area, then Guatemala has a lot of pressure on them, because what will they do? Will they shoot? Will they shoot us? I mean, we're going as civilians, unarmed, peacefully, with a white flag. Every member of the DTV has signed on to the expedition, stating that we're not even allowing alcohol, no arms, and that the expedition is a peaceful one. So I think it places a lot of pressure on Guatemala.
As it relates to the relations between De La Fuente of the NTV and Will Mejia of Belize Territorial Volunteers, nothing has changed, although on this point they do not agree.
On a show this morning together, and Will feels differently than I do, but it does not take away from the fact that we both share a common goal, that we want a demarcated border, that we want a difference in posture from the Belize government regarding our negotiations with Guatemala. So it's not a big deal that I feel differently about it that he does. But the bigger deal is what's going to happen after the statutory instrument expires in 30 days. And we have a lot of work ahead of us. Will we be getting military escort? Will the security forces be giving us protection as we go on this expedition? And if not, then who's going to be brave enough to enter the Sarstoon if negotiations fail and there's no protocol?
In a release issued last week, the government had advised that the introduction of the statutory instrument was necessary in order to prevent any commotion or threat to public safety that might arise in consequence of the continuing tense and dangerous standoff between Belize and Guatemala over the Sarstoon, and the tipping point that could be caused by the unregulated insertion of members of the Belizean public into this very volatile